So it looks like we are
live.
Super.
Well, folks, wanted
wait, hold on, give everybody a chance to log in.
we're going to give kind of the folks a little bit of time to start. If you're just joining us now, we have Ron Servidio with us. He runs a company called IT Services. We'll start formally in a few moments. So Ron, I'm going to start a watch party on my end, which usually helps get more folks.
Yep. So, and also if people have comments, we usually remind them throughout the meeting to put questions in the comments below on Facebook. So Ron, the IT guy, you might have to have a couple of questions being answered today. So, so let's start. I guess we can start going.
So if you're just joining us here or on the replay, this is Cafecito. Cafecito is just coffee and conversation. We are honored today. We have a special guest, Ron Servidio from a company called IT Services, LLC. Ron's company is based out of Stanford, and they run a lot of IT services for their customers, which start from help desk services, home automation, commercial automation. They will support your Wi-Fi needs. So as your tagline goes, I think is your problems are our business. Your problems are our business, right, Ron? So thank you for joining us, Ron. Ron's busy on the go, and he's in his car, and he's get a stable Wi-Fi solution with us, and that's his go-to. That's what he does. So Ron, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Ron, if you would just kind of tell us a little bit about how you got into the business of IT. Was it something? How did you happen to come into this arena?
I started way back in the early 80s. My grandfather bought a Commodore 64 and tied it to the TV, and I started learning some basic programming. I turned and looked after he hooked it up. I said to my grandfather, "So Grandpa, what do I do?" He goes, "I don't know. You figure it out." So every time I was at the house, my grandfather, I would try to figure a little bit out. And then I went to school at Western Junior High School in Greenwich. It's just before high school. And in 1982, 83, I happened to stay late one day in the library, and they were actually hooking up 4 Apple computers, Apple IIe's. They were long time ago. We had that big 5.25 inch floppy disk that we used to do. And one of the lab people said, "Here's a disk, here you go." And I started learning BASIC is what it was. Wasn't really a lot involved in high school. I started doing a little bit more of the graphics and things of that nature, but really started getting more in the computer side of it. People were asking me to upgrade memory, change out the hard drive or the video cards. Very, very small stuff back then. After high school, I went into college at Norwalk Community Technical College. There, I started getting a lot of people asking me, "Oh, I got Windows 95. I like to upgrade. I like to do this." At the time, everybody was out with Windows 3.11, which is really the first graphical interface kind of from Microsoft. Was meant for more or less business applications. We went into Windows 95. I learned 95. Started learning domain controllers, house servers, Novell, all these different attributes on how to make a network happen. We started back with the token ring. We also did BNC, which basically means we had one wire connected to like 15 computers. And if somebody kicked the wire and broke, everybody would go off the computers. So I had to start getting involved with Ethernet, which is independent runs. Back in the day, we really didn't have switches. We only had hubs, which means that everybody shares the same, not independent or isolated. When I was in school with Norwalk, then I got involved with Cisco systems. They were teaching classes with Cisco. So I learned to be a Ccna, which is a certified network associate. I learned all the terminologies for firewalls, routers, how to get into, command lines, how to fix password recoveries if the router couldn't get in. Started learning a lot, and that started to grow. Once I started getting involved with Cisco, I found the need that everybody wanted Wi-Fi, but back in the day, we really didn't have much speed, but everybody wanted the world. So I had to only, work with what was available. And at that time, everybody probably heard of Linksys, which now is owned by Cisco. Linksys was the beginnings when we started learning about routers, and it was the cheapest and economically way to deploy infrastructures, but we call it SOHO, small office, home office technology, which means it's not enterprise, which means you will have problems eventually, or, sometimes the internet won't boot up or things of that nature. As I was growing with Cisco, I then started buying enterprise equipment, and everybody would know, just an example, a Cisco access point today is probably $1,000. Not everybody can afford this product, so I started looking out and seeing other type of vendors. We came up with a company called Ubiquiti, which we love. Ubiquiti, if I had a $1,000 router with Cisco, the Ubiquiti would be like $150, which was more acceptable for the end user. On top of it, it was enterprise level equipment, which means we can do just about anything with it. It has failover, so if the internet goes down, with a lot of people today have Cablevision, and Cablevision is having serious problems now. The reason why they're having serious problems is ever since the virus hit, everybody's been sitting at home, everybody's on the Wi-Fi, everybody's streaming, everybody's doing Zoom meetings and things to that nature. The capacity was overloaded, and they've been having problems in trying to upgrade their services. And technically speaking, I'm still waiting 2 months for a supervisor to get back to me on one particular customer project because it's going constantly in and out. So I've talked to a few of my friends that are in the field. They're saying that they're upgrading the equipment. You just got to be patient. And that's what we've been doing. And slowly pieces have been coming along from there. We are now involved with, once the network has been sound and we analyze the person's house, every house is different. Everybody's got a stone chimney, or they got, a lot of metal in the walls or things to that nature. The Wi-Fi does not work. It'll absorb the Wi-Fi instead of reflect. And it's kind of important to know how to walk around the house. I do have a special thing on my laptop that will tell me the meters and signals, so I can walk around the house and say, hey, here's your dead zone, this is a good zone, and this is what we need to fix the problem. A lot of the people today say, oh, I can't run Cat5 wire to that because my house is finished and it's at the other end of the house. We do have technology today where we can plug Cat5 into high voltage. Please do not do this yourself because you can get killed. But I have devices that will plug into the high voltage to get us the network access anywhere in the house. So I do know technology to get people to where they need to be. As the streams have been becoming more and more involved, we in 2012 we became a dealer for Control4. Control4 was a low, cost-effective way to centralize a single remote control in your house. You have one remote control that turns on the lights, the shades, turn on the fireplace, turn on the swimming pool, turn on the TV, play music, whatever your heart desires, we can make it happen with Control4. Control4 recently got bought out by Snap AV a few years ago, and now the sky is the limit. Control4, the home automation side, is a practical way to incorporate a smart home. Back in the day, we used to have a company called AMX. AMX is about $300,000 to get started. Nobody's going to spend that money. Then there's a Crestron company. They're $200,000. Oh yeah, we save $100,000, but still, nobody's going to want to buy this. A Control4 system, I just did a complete house for under $50,000. That's including the light switches, which are about 85 light switches in the house. home. We do Sonos around the house. They got rock speakers outside. We did the whole 9 yards. We got 5 TVs on. That's more practical. The also best thing about Control 4 is you could do pieces at a time. You don't have to do the whole thing. So we start off with the TV. We simplify the TV with the remote control. You press one button, Apple TV plays. You press another button, your cable box plays. You press another button, the Blu-ray plays. Everybody has 5 remote controls. Nobody knows which remote control is what. On top of it, who's got the batteries? There's no batteries. So everybody's going crazy. So everything is simplified. We could do it on a remote control. We could do it on a smartphone. We could do it on a tablet. There's lots of ways that we can incorporate. So today, everything is based upon Wi-Fi. And like I tell all my clients, when you go out and buy a car, usually a car, we look at a car on a yearly basis. And usually a car would last 6 or 7 years. And then we would want to upgrade to a newer car. Does the car broke? No, but the car just doesn't have all the technology that we're just accustomed to and used to. Yeah. So everybody will trade that in and get a new car. Well, with computers change every 6 months. So if I were to say that a customer that I just was at said we had this put in brand new of our house 4 years ago, I look at them and say, well, your technology is 8 years old. What do you expect? And they're like, okay, just do what you need to do to fix it. I put it in. I put the system in. I was talking to the husband and checking the internet speeds. All I hear in the back is, Dad, my Xbox is working. The father looked at me and said, you did a good job. so we find the problems and we give you the solutions. It could be, it could vary. I mean, it could be simple as far as replacing an access point, or it could be some serious issues where we have to run cabling. We can run Cat5. We can run the coax TV wire. We're even certified with fiber optics. I can run fiber optics in the house. I can run fiber optics from building to building. I understand the differences between multi-mode and single mode and how the different diameters and how we do things with the actual fiber optics to make things work. We also do building to building wirelessly, because sometimes customers, we do a lot of commercial. A lot of times they have a maintenance shed that's probably 700 to 1,000 feet away from the main building. They're not going to run conduit pipe in the ground. They're not going to connect the two. I put these 2 little wireless devices up, create a bridge, and next thing you know, I have transmission from one building to another. It does matter what you use, because if the building's going to have a lot of people on it, you will suffer the speed because of the amount of people that are on it. Sometimes what we do is we put 2 systems in. One's a failover, or one would be an offset. So if it got too heavy on one side, it'll share between the multiples. Okay. So there's a lot of different things that we incorporate. Today, everything is based on wireless. I constantly hear people say, my iPhone doesn't work. I'm going to give you a tip. If something doesn't work, reboot. Turn it off. Turn it off. Let it sit for a minute. Don't touch it. Turn it back on. Chances are 90% of the time that will fix the problem. Okay. So we do a lot. We do PCs. We do in-home computers. I used to build computers. There's no money in computers. So we're a Dell Direct. We actually tell the customer, we'll spec out the machine from Dell. The customer will buy directly from Dell. A lot of times when I come to somebody's house, the computer's broken, I got to call Frankie down the street because that's the guy that they bought the computer from. Frankie don't want to talk to them because the customer is really not happy with them, and it gets to be crazy. I deal directly with Dell. I get Dell on the phone. We get the parts shipped out right away. We come out and fix the problem. There's no hassles. Good. We also do country clubs. We do a lot with the country clubs. We get insane amount of people on Wi-Fi. country clubs are, their bylaws said no handheld devices. Not today.
No.
Today, everybody's got handheld, everybody's reading books, everybody's working at the pools, at the country clubs. Wi-Fi has been like insane as
How
far
do
as
you,
they
like,
need the reliability.
how do you handle like at a country club, like with a golf course? Like, you know, you got acres of land. How do you handle that?
Well, the golf courses, on the golf courses, we really don't put the Wi-Fi on because Wi-Fi really is not like cellular where it can go miles.
Okay.
You know, there's Bluetooth that can go 30 feet to 40 feet. Wi-Fi usually goes about 150 feet. Cellular goes everywhere pretty much that the cell tower can hit. So on the country club golf courses, we really don't get involved with that because the golf carts are cellular modules. But we are, because of this COVID and there's no sports on. In fact, yesterday was the first NASCAR race in 10 weeks.
Right.
I didn't even know it was on. It was the first, first race. There's no sports that are out there. We're getting a couple of the country clubs asking us to put cameras on the golf course so the members can see live streams of the actual golfers. So I think that's kind of cool. I love these type of little projects. So, we're more or less, with the country clubs, we do the point of sale. There's no credit cards here. So everybody, we call it a chit. You sign off on the members. So we're responsible for the back end servers. We're responsible for the point of sale system. We're responsible for the emails. That's another thing. When I was back in 2000, I saw the need that Microsoft Exchange with the email system was very important because of communications. So I grew. I learned about blacklists, route email. I knew how to troubleshoot email. Email is huge. Office 365 is what we recommend because we have a lot of security and vulnerabilities that are out there, and they're up to this stuff. If you try to set up an email system yourself, you're going to patch, monitor, maintenance. It's a lot involved. So we help the small businesses get involved with the 365 world. They give you Microsoft Office, they give you the emails, and we're usually able to help a lot quickly with those kind of things.
Okay. So you're kind of setting up systems for the country clubs that kind of help them operate, their point of sale, but then also the cabana areas, maybe, if they have swimming pools, things like that. So,
snack bars, printing of the snack bars. When you put the order in, it prints on the back, on the hot and the cold side. We do the time clocks. We make sure that the time clocks are communicating. A lot today, people used to, back in the day, do the card punches, and Frankie would come over and punch me in, so this way I wouldn't get yelled at for not being there on time. Today we do biometrics, we do thumbprints, we do facial recognitions, we do a lot of stuff with that. We have to tie those computers, tie those time clocks into the main infrastructure, make sure they're on a secure area, things to that nature. So there's a lot of little pieces that people don't realize when it comes to technology. We're in it all. We're the one call that does it all.
So your help desk, if they will help troubleshoot some of those things if, the person's having some problems, say at the country club, or the dentist's office, right?
Yep.
Sorry.
They actually, I want to say, Eddie, thank you for that referral. They've been with us now over a year, and they have had no issues. I probably spoke to them twice on minor things as far as changing a password on the Wi-Fi, but after speaking to them, they have not been one bit of a problem. We do the backups, we do off-site backups, we do virtualization with VMware, Microsoft. So we are, like I said, we make sure that we listen to what you need. We're also the type of customer that in certain aspects that will put the equipment in to let you see that everything is working properly. The last thing I want to do is sell you something that doesn't work or not 100% for you. I prefer to put it in, verify that everything is working. If there's a couple tweaks, we'll take care of it and get you up 100%. And basically referrals. Everybody's been referring us. And, you know, it's been crazy, especially with this virus. We get one referral, we fix this person's house. Oh, my brother-in-law down the street, he's got problems. We go over and fix his problem. Oh, my friend down the road, he's got a problem. So it compounds. I guess when you do good work, it follows you.
So with some of the stuff that you're doing on the home office side, you know, because like you were just mentioning earlier with Optimum, you know, not being able to kind of handle all this bandwidth, you know, I think during one of the business networking meetings, you were talking about kind of a redundancy system.
That's correct. We do cellular backups. We have a 4G cellular that will tie into your system. And if the internet were to go down, you have complete failover. You will be able to go out to the internet. You will be able to do your Zoom meetings. You'll be able to do your streams. Now, you know, Cablevision as an example, it's $150. They only charge you $150 and you get unlimited data. But the cellular, it is a cost. So you kind of don't want to watch Netflix all the time because you're going to consume so much of the bandwidth. But, you know, if it's just something that went out and came back an hour later, it's perfect because a lot of these people today are doing Zoom meetings. They don't have time to, you know, hey, listen, you know, my internet's down. I can't have this meeting right now. You know, a lot of people are working from home. We also do virtual private networking, VPNs. We have a lot of customers that are at home that actually need access to phone systems at their offices. So when they ring the branch, it rings their desk at their house. We do all that.
Oh, that's awesome. So you don't necessarily have to be at the building. It'll just come right to and you can do that for multiple employees.
Yep.
So you can set them all up to bring in each individual's employee's house. That's awesome.
Now, because it's academic, it's been really a really scary situation. You know, I do have my mask. I do have gloves. I do have, you know, all safety measures. I stay 6 feet away from everybody, regardless. You know, we can't take chances out there. And I'm in the front line. You know, people don't consider us to be that important. But, you know, I'm sick and tired of hearing all the medical workers. Well, how about us IT people? We're out in the front lines getting you guys working so you can work at home. Sure. And all these, you know, governors and all these, you know, politicians, they don't recognize us as being critical. We're the ones that are keeping this economy going right now as best as you guys can by giving you the ability to work from home. I don't hear any shout outs.
I think because it's taken for granted, right?
That's true.
Like they just think, hey, it's working. And they don't realize that it takes, you know, people to make it work, right? It just doesn't work. And probably they think that way because so much of it's in the cloud, right? So, you know, they think it's, you know, how are people floating in the cloud working?
They're trying to figure out how to get this $3 trillion, how they're going to find out how they're going to spend this or that. They're not worried about the front line. We're on the front line. You know, look at all that technology that's in the hospital. You know, somebody's got to maintain that equipment. You know, there's a lot to it. And you know, it's like you said, Eddie, it's taken for granted.
Yeah. I mean, I think it may, look, it may take, you know, something drastic to happen in order for, you know, for people to open their eyes and say, you know, hey, those systems went down. They're not operational any longer. But let's hope that doesn't happen. But, you know, so as long as you guys keep working, yeah, hey, well, I'm cheering you on in the back. So your business kind of does almost every aspect of kind of, you know, whether they're, you know, computing right at their desk or if they're having to compute from home, you know, having to set up Wi-Fi's at home, maybe, you know, analyze, you know, where the Wi-Fi has some fail spots in their home. So yeah, you keep everybody working, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So I noticed on your site, which I thought was really awesome and cool, is that, you know, you can even set up digital signage.
That's correct. We're doing a lot of that right now. That's for the people that don't know. We actually have country clubs that in the snack bar, we put digital signs up so that they can see the menu. And, you know, they can have 2 static menus, which basically tell you the cheeseburgers and fries and ice cream. And then the middle one changes. It tells you the temperature outside. It tells you what the 5-day forecast is going to be, up and coming events for the club. It's just like a lot of stuff that we're doing with the digital signage. We did something really cool at one of the country clubs. We actually incorporated an outdoor TV on the dock, and that the people see the wind, the precipitation, the air temperature, when the high tide, the low tide, all this information just rotates constantly on an update. It's not something that I go in and update. It's constantly dynamically changing. And when the members come up, they stand at that TV and they're like, oh, tomorrow's gonna be a great day for us to go sailing. And they can plan their day out. You know, I understand everybody can go to the news and watch it, but you know, the news is limited. They're gonna tell you the next 5 hours, or they're gonna tell you 10 hours from now. People wanna see what's going on now. They wanna know what's going on now. And it keeps keeps tabs of the temperature during the course of the day. So you can see when it goes up 1 degree or down 1 degree or things like that. You know, those little things for a boater is really critical, because you're out on the water, you know, it's life or death out there. So you kind of need all this information you can possibly get, which I thought was really cool and really fun. We do a lot of things like that. We're going to be doing a lot of the clubs now have, when you walk in the door, like in Vegas, when you walk in the door, there's a TV screen right there showing you the up and coming events. Or tonight, you know, we're going to be playing this in this ballroom, and we're going to be watching this in this ballroom or whatever. We're starting to get involved a lot with that, and the country clubs are actually loving it. It's not just for the clubs. It could be for any commercial aspect, you know.
Do you think like restaurants or even stores, because of the fact that they don't want to hand out menus all the time, are they going to be changing the way they're putting their menu in front of their customers?
Yep, that's correct. We even do touch screens. So we put a film on the front of the TV screen that you can actually physically touch and get, you know, navigate around it. You know, for instance, you want to see the property of this, you know, wherever building that you have, or the country club, for instance, there's 9 different buildings, and you got a guest that walks in there and says, we're supposed to go to an event for the women's club. Where is it? When they walk in the door, they see women's club, they hit the button, it tells them in a diagram where to go. So there's a lot of informational pieces we can do with digital signage, which is really the new and up and coming thing.
That's phenomenal.
That's great. Well, that's a lot of information that you gave us today and stuff, but it was great. I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know, they really have to look at their home network right now and see what's going on, because everybody's working from home, and we may have in the future where there's that balance where you work most of the time at home, and then part of the time you're going to a location. And how are things working out? Because obviously, you know, if you're working either from home or in a building, you need to be always connected in this day and age. So it was a lot of good information that you supplied for us. So thank you for that.
Appreciate it, Ron. Yeah. So this is extremely helpful. I think there's going to be a lot of folks that can utilize your services. You know, whether right now they're kind of experiencing, you know, some downtime in their networks, and they're not having that same connectivity that Cynthia was talking about, where it's not as fluid. So you're someone like you is crucial to kind of make those connections again and get them working. And it sounds like you've got some solutions for folks, some businesses, right, where they can utilize technology to make it contactless, right, where, you know, they don't have to necessarily, you know, have a waiter, you know, breathing on them. They could maybe hit a high, you know, right at the table. They could have an iPad. They can make their order.
doing that too. Yep.
Straight to the kitchen, you know.
Right.
So those things are crucial because, you know, that's how kind of the economy is going to get back running, right? So
they said Twitter, they announced it last week that everybody from Twitter can stay home except for the IT department because they have to be there for the servers and stuff. But they are allowing now everybody to work from home. And they, you know, there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of that. So, you know, that's the next level here is to try to find a way for these people to work from home so they can get, you know, everything that they need to get done taken care of safely.
well, that's crucial on our end too, because as people are allowed to be at home, they're probably going to want to upgrade the space that they're in, right? Yeah, to make it, you know, perhaps get the home that has the additional room with the office, and then us to connect back with you to make sure that it's wired correctly, so that they don't have any problems connecting back to their office. So yeah, I think we're both helping folks kind of adapting to the new normal, as kind of the phrase goes.
The new normal. One of my clients, my first client, 22 years I've been with them. Is an actuarial company. They do placements for recruiters. They're recruiters for high-end actuaries. And the norm back then was they're always talking on the phone and trying to talk to the person and set them up a job. I just had the owner of the company reach out to me last week, and now he wants to incorporate video conferencing in his website to allow these people to get more personable one-to-one. It's just the way that everything is going today. So life has changed. It's not going to be the same ever, I don't believe. It's going to take us at least, I believe, a year before everybody can start trusting everything that's going out there. Vaccine or no vaccine, it's going to get to a point where everybody's just sick and tired of being at home and they're just going to go out. But, you know, life has changed. You know, there's different things that are happening, and people really need to realize to take advantage of the technology. It's there for us.
Yeah.
True.
That's true. So I know on your website there's an IT help button. So if anyone has questions, they can always go to your website. So your website is itservicesllc.com.
That's correct. Plural. itservicesllc.com. Yes, and that's our Zen desk. And during normal business hours, we have somebody monitoring that. Our business hours are 9 to 6. Monday through Friday. We do help on the weekends. You know, we like to, you know, if somebody has a problem, they can send an email to support@itservicesllc.com, and we reply back to everybody within the same day, within an hour. We're very conscious about that. We know how everybody needs to have answers, questions answered. So we're here for you guys. We're here to make your life a lot easier.
Can they reach you over the phone as well?
Sure.
What would be the best number to contact anyone? You or anyone?
Our office number is 203-595-5778. And when they get in, they can press the option 2 for support, and there'll be a person ready to pick up the call.
Cool, great. So we're going to put all that information on our comments. So if people just need to get to you right away.
We're on Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're one of the few people that actually got our name.
Good. So we'll tag you on Facebook, and the replay will probably be it'll be posted to YouTube as well. So, you know, folks can get the information from there.
Awesome.
But Ron, we appreciate your time, and, you know, you kind of handling things on the front lines, keeping us all connected. I know if we didn't have the connection, Cynthia would have probably already strangled me. So.
Everybody be safe. Just remember, be smart, be safe. Don't be stupid out there. You know, it's somebody else's life that you can take, not yours. And, you know, we just got to be cautious, please. Everybody just be safe and take it easy.
Super. Yep. Well, thanks so much for your time, Ron.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.